March 29th, 2013. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 16 of You Can Bet on That. Welcome, everybody, once again to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall. Once again, I'm here with Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So, Mike, how's March Madness going for you?
Yeah, pretty good so far. Yep. I mean, I like the games have been entertaining.
Yep.
There have been some great upsets, right?
Definitely.
Having a number 15 seed in the Sweet 16,
yep.
Even though they had to beat San Diego State to do it.
Yeah.
Which was sad, but you knew that was coming, right?
Oh, yeah. As a San Diego sports fan.
You knew that was coming. I mean, we're always the answer to every trivia question. So now it's going to be, what 15 seed made the Sweet 16 by beating who?
Yeah, exactly.
The answer will be San Diego State.
And by the way, we're recording this in the middle of Sweet 16. So depending on when you listen to this, more games might have taken place. And so we don't know what the status is going to be of Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, well, they might be in the Big Eight, right?
Elite Eight, yeah.
Elite Eight after tonight.
Yep.
But otherwise, I think pretty good. And remember, I said that watch out for Ohio State, and here they are. They're in the Elite Eight.
Yep, you did. And in our pool, Ohio State was one of the teams that I drew. Again, just a random draw. And so, I've been happy with that, although it has been close the last couple of games that they played.
Right, but they've won them. I mean, I got Indiana. I was, initially kind of happy about that. I thought, well, they should, probably make the Final Four.
Sure.
They were ranked number 1 most of the year, and look, they're gone.
Yep.
They played crappy.
Yeah. Well, I wondered, so did anybody take my advice and bet the parlay? On the last episode, I said, hey, a number 1 has never lost in that first round, that round of 64. Right, they've never lost to a 16 seed.
Gonzaga tried this year, but
sure, they tried to lose.
They tried to lose.
So I was suggesting, hey, make a parlay on the money line, not on the point spread, because they don't always cover the point spread, but they've always won. So I said, hey, bet a parlay on the money line, and bet all 4 games. And when last episode I was saying, the money line generally goes off at about minus 5,000. I was way off, actually. It's significantly higher. The best that I could find, I think it was on sportbet.com, and the best line on any of the number 1s was minus about 8,200, and that was Kansas. Gonzaga was minus 9,100, Indiana was about minus 11,000, and Louisville was minus 15,000 on the money line.
Wow.
So if you had taken my advice and bet the parlay on the money line, say $100, you would have won, and you would have won $3.92.
Not bad. $3.92.
$3.92. It's a good bet. When it's a good bet, it's a good bet.
You could almost buy a gallon of gas. Not quite.
Yep. Risking $100.
Risking $100. Yeah.
So, to be honest though, I had trouble finding any casino that was even posting a money line on some of these games. Right. So if you were in Vegas at a sport book, you might not even been able to make this bet.
Yeah, well, they probably figure no one's going to do it, right?
Well, I mean, I guess not. I mean, okay, they're not going to do the parlay, but I mean even just a single money line bet.
Yeah.
Like Louisville, I guess, I don't know.
Well, since no number 1 has ever lost, the casino probably figures they're going to be paying that, right?
Yeah,
so maybe don't offer it.
I guess, or just offer it's so high that nobody's going to risk it, because eventually a number 1's going to lose, right?
Yeah, right. Well, a number 2 lost this year for the first time ever.
No, number 2s lose all the time
in the first round.
Yes.
To a 15.
Yeah. Well, that happened to me one year.
Really?
I had Arizona as a number 2.
So they're just the first 15 to advance past the second game,
right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. There have been I didn't look it up, but no, number 2s have fallen in that first round. Yeah, okay. It's not that unusual.
I mean, well, will you say it happens every year? I don't.
No, it doesn't happen every year. But I think you'd even suggested maybe do a parlay and include all the number 2s.
Yeah, that
would have been a disaster.
Yeah,
no, it's happened before. I know for sure because I had Arizona one year as a number 2.
And they lost.
So, yeah that happens.
So let me put it this way. If you are a number 2 or a number 1 and you lose that first game, shame on you.
I mean,
that's
pretty
ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. Well, even if you make it close, if you're a number 1,
but
you really should be
blow them away, right?
Which often happens, but
right.
Yeah. So something came up in the news, and it broke. The news broke like right after we recorded our last episode. So this might be old news to some people, but Quinton Carter, who is a safety for the Denver Broncos, has been arrested for cheating at craps.
Yeah, I like that he was arrested.
Yeah, I mean this is serious business.
Yeah.
He was this was in Nevada. And when you're caught cheating in Nevada casinos, I mean, it's like armed robbery.
Right. Well, they consider it.
The penalties are huge. It's not something where you get like a light sentence. So let's explain what happened here. He was caught on camera, allegedly, past posting on a bet in craps. And let's explain what past posting is. Past posting is a means of cheating where the player adds to a winning wager before that wager has been paid by the dealer. So, for example, let's say you had $10 bet on black in roulette, and the dealer spun the ball, and the ball bounces around and lands on 17 black. And before the dealer has a chance to pay your bet, and without him seeing, you add another $10 to your bet on black. And then finally the dealer gets around to paying the bet, and he pays you $20 instead of the 10 that you had.
Right.
That's called past posting. It's cheating. It's been going on for years, and
happens a lot at blackjack.
I mean
you see it more at blackjack.
That's possibly
as a matter of fact,
true.
I don't know that I've ever heard anyone doing it at craps.
Yeah, I guess the thing about in blackjack and craps, I guess it really depends on where's the dealer's eye, right? When it's going like that.
Well, there's so many players on a table too. Another player would.
I could see it happening in craps. Think about where the dealers, they're concentrating on,
But they usually have the stick watching.
Yeah, everybody should be watching. Well, Quinton Carter was caught supposedly adding $5 to his bet. Past posting $5. This is an NFL player
who's probably making well over $1 million a year.
Yeah, you would think so. What's the minimum for NFL players now?
It's like $450,000, $500,000, something like that.
But he's adding $5 to, I think it was to a pass line bet. It does seem sort of crazy. Now he's claiming that he didn't understand the game.
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you about that. I've been thinking about that.
Right.
If you don't understand the game, okay, I could see somebody doesn't know the game, right? But in order to be doing what he was doing, the pass posting, you have to wait till the dealer's not looking.
Right.
To put the $5 out there. Because if you didn't know the game and you just thought, okay, I can add to it, well, you would probably just do it at any point. The dealer would look at you and say, oh, no, you can't do that, right?
Right.
But 3 times they catch him on camera waiting till the dealer's not looking and then putting it on there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you obviously know you're doing something wrong, right? You wouldn't be waiting for the dealer not to be looking.
Well, here's the other thing, too. Now, at first glance, it's like, maybe he didn't know the game. It's only $5. But here's the thing. It happened at Texas Station in Las Vegas, which is a locals casino. And Las Vegas is his hometown.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is he's probably been doing this for years probably before he even got in the NFL.
Right.
And this is just his thing. Right before he had any money, he got used to, putting the $5. Now, this is all speculation on my part, of course.
Yeah.
But, he's probably been doing it for a long time and got kind of good at it.
Right. And he probably just finally got caught. So what I don't understand is $5.
That's what I'm thinking is maybe he's just done $5 all along and that's what he's used to.
Ooh, I got him for $5.
He's showing off to his friends or something to check this out, right? I don't know. But,
what do you have on the line? What do you think? You had a 5 and you added 5 to it?
Yeah, that's the only thing I could figure.
But the dealer should know that, right? Because they kind of glance when people bet.
Yeah.
And they know. And if he took odds, right, he wouldn't change his odds. I mean, he's not adding to his odds bet. So
I don't know.
It'd be like, oh, you didn't take full odds.
We don't have enough details, but I'm guessing it'd be like on a natural, like a 7
like a
comes
7,
out,
right? Yeah,
and that's what he's adding to
maybe,
it real quick.
Right? Sure.
So he got caught 3 times. They're obviously trying to make an example of him, and maybe they're using the fact that he's a famous athlete to emphasize, hey, don't cheat in Las Vegas. Don't cheat.
Or maybe they just want the publicity.
Sure.
For the casino, right?
That could be, although, it's not, I had to kind of go back and look it up. It's not like every article says Texas Station.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know that they're going for the, but they're definitely, I think it seems like maybe they're trying to make an example of him. And so he got caught 3 times. Each charge carries a possible sentence of 1 to 6 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. That's for each of the 3 charges. So I don't know, legally if that means he would get like 3 consecutive 6-year terms or just one. But
it'd be funny if he actually went to prison. I mean, that prison would have the best basketball team of all the prison teams. I mean, football team of all the prison teams. And you'd have to explain to the other guys when you're eating, what are you in here for? I put $5 extra on the pass line, damn it.
Well, 6, we're seeing how serious this is. $5 stupid dollars could result in 6 years in prison. That's what cheating will get you in Las Vegas. Oh my gosh.
The interesting thing, and for me in this whole story, is it happened at a station casino. Because Mark and I decided once, years ago, we were going to go to Vegas and go to every station casino.
Right. Well, we were trying to go to every Las Vegas area casino that we'd never been to before.
Right.
We rented a car.
Right.
And we just kind of went up, the Boulder strip there, right? To all those.
We went to every one we knew of, and we played for a small amount of time, but we played in all of them, so we could say we played in every casino.
Yep.
And the station casinos, they are very local.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's
for sure. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. All right.
Good luck, Quinton.
Good luck, Quinton. So the National Heads Up Poker Championship, which is basically a made-for-TV event that NBC created. It's been going on for a few years. And last year they canceled it. After Poker's Black Friday, they canceled it, I guess because they thought they'd have trouble getting sponsors or whatever. But so they didn't have it last year, but they did have it again this year. And we're bringing it up because they're going to start airing episodes starting on Saturday, April 6th. They air it during the day just on the local NBC affiliates. And the time that they air it really depends on where you live. A lot of areas it's on at 1:00, but I think here on the West Coast it's going to be like 6 p.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
But check your local listings.
Is Greg Raymer in it?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know.
Be interesting to see. I think.
If world champion and now infamous Greg Raymer might be in that.
Him and Quinton Carter, head to head.
Yes. Well, so this national heads up. Do you know who won? You probably don't know who won.
I don't know who won.
Yeah, see, I know who won. I won't spoil it for you or our listeners.
Don't spoil it for me. I got to really watch that.
I don't watch a lot of poker on TV anymore, but I do tune in for this. We were talking earlier, they really only show interesting hands.
Right.
In this. I mean, it's not even like World Poker Tour where you see only a certain amount of hands. I mean, they only show like, okay, I'm all in. Oh, let's go to an outer table. Oh, somebody's all in.
Right.
So you really don't get a sense for how this tournament really plays. But I don't know. It's kind of entertaining.
Yeah. And a few times I've watched it, I didn't find it all that entertaining because of that. I mean, it's like, oh, he's all in. Okay. And, they go through the hand, then they're off to another table.
Yeah.
I prefer to watch a group of guys, the same like 5 or 6 guys playing and see the dynamic of the table.
Right. Right. Well, once they do get heads to the final 2 players, it does get a little more interesting because they do show more of it.
Right.
So yeah, be sure to tune into that. They should be so it starts April 6th and then they air episodes like every Saturday for like 4 or 5 weeks, something like that, as they eliminate players. We as everyone knows, we play craps typically almost exclusively when we are in the casino. And we were out at Harrah's Rincon a few weeks ago, and we were on a table. It wasn't doing too well, actually.
No, the table was fairly cold.
Yeah. But finally, this guy on the other side of the table got the dice, and he had a great roll. This was the kind of roll where he came out on a number and then just kept rolling, numbers. Then finally made his point, And already he was on a great roll.
Right.
And then he ended up making like 5 points, something like that.
Yeah, he made at least 5 points.
Yeah, so it was a great roll. But we were looking down at his rack, and he hardly had any chips in it. So we're thinking, well, what's going on? Because we're making money like crazy. And then you noticed.
Yeah, he was laying the 10.
Right, which is a bet against the 10. A lay bet at craps is you're betting that a number won't come up before a 7.
Right, so he was hoping a 7 would come up, which, can happen and still have a good roll. He could have made his point, let's say an 8, and then rolled a 7 on the come out, and he wins that 10 bet.
Right, the lay bet, because the lay bets are working on the come out roll. Right. But yeah, this guy just was making a lay bet, and then when it would lose, because he was rolling 10s.
Yeah, he rolled quite a few 10s.
And he was putting a lot out there. He'd put start by putting out like $300 against the 10, and then he'd roll a 10, so his bet would lose. So then he'd put like 600 out to try to,
make up the difference.
Oh my gosh.
It's a crazy way to play as far as I'm concerned, because, so by the time, you lose 3 10s or something, you're making a huge bet, and there's no guarantee that's going to win.
Well, I think it's bad to be doing that when you're shooting.
Right.
It's one thing to play that way because you can, if it's a cold table, you'll make money. But if you're because the thing was, he was on the pass line.
Right.
He wasn't a don't shooter.
No, and he was placing the 6 and 8.
That's right.
Remember, if the point wasn't 6 or 8 on the pass line, he would place the 6 and 8. Assume, he's one of those people, they come up a lot.
Right.
But he just, for whatever reason, didn't like 10.
Yeah. So, and that was his way. So he, finally, he 7'd out and everybody gave him a big round of applause, and he's sitting there with hardly any chips.
And he had quite a bit of chips when he started rolling.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was, it's, the thing about that is, when that happens to you, you just feel like crap. I
know exactly, right? Because you do.
Yeah, you had a great roll. Everyone won a ton of money, and you lost a ton, right? Not a little. You didn't break even. Every once in a while, you'll see there'll be a young kid at the table with very little money.
Yeah.
And they'll just have one little $5 pass line bet, and they'll have a great roll, and everyone will win a ton of money, and they won maybe $20 because
that's all he was doing.
That's all he was doing. That pass line didn't have odds. He didn't have a lot of money. I understand that. And I'm sure that person feels bad too. Like, God, I wished I had money. Right. But, at least they didn't lose. This guy actually lost his,
it was that's a big
miserable.
Roll.
Yeah. We ended up, coming out ahead.
Oh, like crazy. Oh, yeah.
Because of that. We were having a bad night.
Yeah. And that was huge. Just on the pass line alone, we were making a killing because he was rolling a lot of points. Yeah.
Sad.
We
didn't win the fire bet though.
No, we didn't win the fire bet. And he rolled. I said he rolled 5 points, but he repeated like
a couple
the 6, or I can't remember what it was.
He repeated a couple.
Yeah. Just to remind everybody, the fire bet, it's not on all craps tables, but most Caesars properties have it. It's a bet that the shooter will establish and make at least 4 unique points. The key there is unique. So, if you just roll a bunch of 6s as your point, that doesn't affect the fire bet. You have to roll, like a 4, 5, 6, 9, at least 4 unique points to win this fire bet.
And if you roll all 6 points, you get the big prize.
Right, it's 1,000 to 1. Right. We were talking about this when we were driving back from the casino last time. We were calculating how hard it is to roll all 6 of those for a fire bet.
Yeah, it's hard.
And it's in the thousands of shooters that you have to go through. Yeah. And we were trying to determine how often we go to the casino, how often maybe we go to Vegas. We determined that we should hit a winning, all 6 numbers fire bet by July 4th, 2016.
Yeah. That's our goal.
So,
and I'm going to be pissed if we don't. If July 4th, 2016 comes and we haven't hit a 6 fire bet, I'll feel cheated.
Yeah. All right. So that's our goal. So we've got some time. We've got a lot of shooters to get through. July 4th, 2016. We got to write that down, put it on my iPhone so I don't forget.
It'll make time go by so slow waiting for July 4th, 2016.
Well, now I hope we hit it next week.
Yeah. That'd be great. And then we can talk about, it's not that hard.
Right. That's right. All right. So you were telling me you saw something. Where'd you see this? Did you read about this?
No, I heard some people talking about it on a radio program. Okay. And then I read about it in the paper. They actually had it in the San Diego Tribune paper.
Okay. All right.
A little article about a Class AAA affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. So they've got a unique it's not really a promotion. It's just entertainment, I guess you would call it, for fans.
For men.
For men, yeah. So basically what it boils down to is when you go to the restroom at their field and you're at the urinal, I didn't say anything about toilets, but when you're at the urinal.
It's going to be the urinal, yeah.
Yeah, there's a video screen above the urinal, a console that can go into like a gaming mode. And it's some kind of technology that detects the presence and where you actually urinate.
Right.
So where you urinate allows the person to, play this game.
You're manipulating the screen like you would like just with a video
with a
game
joystick,
controller,
yeah.
right? Okay, yeah.
Your joystick, so to speak, is controlling the game.
Okay.
So you can stand at the urinal and play this game. Why they want people to be in the urinal longer, I don't know. I mean, I can just see this being a big problem for, there's a full crowd and the guy's behind her. Come on, finish that game. I gotta go.
And I saw this online. Yeah, they have games that, like, I saw one that was like a skiing game, or you're trying to ski. God. And they have other things where it's just like trivia, where they ask you a question, and then you've got to like pee to indicate which
yes
answer is
no,
the correct one or something.
Oh God. For all the guys out there, and I hope this doesn't offend any of our female listeners, but there's enough urine on the floor beneath the urinal that you really don't need to like distract guys anymore. I mean, there's enough drippage down there that.
All right. So the question is, why are you bringing it up on a gambling podcast?
Yeah. The reason I brought this up is, how long is it going to be before a casino decides that, okay, let's put, a video poker machine above the urinal, right? They've got video poker in the bar.
Yeah.
You can sit at the bar and have a drink.
Yep.
They're now introducing it in your room, like we talked about before.
Yeah.
They have, I got just recently from Caesars Properties announcing that they allow online poker play in the state of Nevada.
Right.
And they're going to be,
and
they're going to be having that in all their rooms. So you can sit in your room and play poker online. Right. So, how long is it going to be until they put video poker in the urinal?
Well, my question is this, though. How much can you urinate? Right? If you're down like $500, you're going to be, I better order another pitcher of beer.
You'll have to.
I'm going to be in there. In there a while.
Yeah, they'll probably have a pitcher thing, a place where you can place your pitcher and drink while you're urinating. Keep the flow going.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess this has been around in Great Britain. I was looking into it. It's by a company called Captive Media, and they introduced it in some English pubs. But now it's finally coming to the United States. Yeah,
it just boggles my mind that is something people want to do.
I don't know. Once you get in there, it's probably pretty fun. But yeah, the gambling, how much time can you spend in the bathroom? Yeah. If it was the kind of thing where you're at the urinal, you play a few video poker hands, and then you can like take it out with you or something. I don't know.
This will be me. I'll actually probably have a good roll, have been drinking a bunch of soda or something during the craps, go to the bathroom and lose everything I just won on the roll while I'm urinating, You walk out, your head's down. You can't believe you did. God, why didn't I hold it? Why didn't I just hold it?
All the dealer, what's wrong? You're having a great hand. No, I just lost it all in the bathroom. All right. Let's move on to Poker Home Game. This is the segment of the show where we talk about poker games that they don't play in casinos, but that you might play at a home game with your buddies. And this episode, we're going to talk about a game called 4-3, which is an extremely simple game that is kind of
volatile.
It's a volatile game, no question. We've started playing it a lot more. It's been pretty popular in our home game.
It's a fun game. It's what it is.
It's never a game that I like to call.
No,
but I don't mind playing it. It's kind of fun.
It's one of those games that you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it because it is volatile.
Yeah,
depending on your outlook on cards.
But it's called 4-3. It's a very simple game. Here's how it works. It's a pot game. So there's no betting and raising it like in typical poker. Instead, everybody antes, and we usually ante like $1.50, $2, something like that. Everybody antes right away. Everybody gets 4 cards down. And starting with the player to the dealer's left, he looks at his hand and decides whether he's in or out. He looks at his 4 cards. He determines whether he's going to be in and out. And what's going to happen is, if he's in, he's going to get 3 more cards to make a
7-card hand.
To have 7 cards to make a 5-card poker hand, right? So every player has the decision to either stay in or go out, fold in essence. And once everybody has made that decision, then everybody just flips up their cards.
The remaining people in.
Only the people who've decided they stay in. They flip up their cards. And then everybody who's still in just gets 3 more cards. And whoever has the best 5-card poker hand splits with whoever has the low 5-card poker hand.
Right. And the losers match the pot.
Right. So, exactly. So let's say, you're playing for the pot basically the whole time. Usually you're only going to win half of it because you'll only have like the high hand or the low hand. But if you don't have the high or the low, you lose and you have to match the pot. However much money was in the pot, you have to put into the pot for the next hand.
Right. So the pot can grow. If you have 4 people in, 1 person wins high, 1 wins low. The 2 people who lost match the pot. If there was $10 in the pot, now all of a sudden the pot's $20.
Right.
And exactly. you play again.
It's as simple as that. High hand splits with the low hand. So, again, let's just kind of go over the mechanics, but basically everybody has an option to stay in or fold right away. And let's say you've got 8 players, and using your example, let's say 4 players have decided to stay in. So the 4 players that have decided to stay in flip their cards up, and then the dealer just deals 3 cards right off the top of the deck to each of the players. And you look at the cards. Whoever has the best 5-card poker hand gets half the pot. Whoever gets the low, has the lowest 5-card poker hand gets half the pot.
And you don't have to use the same 5 cards for your high and your low hand.
Right.
Should make that.
Just like any 7-card stud game.
Right.
Exactly.
So someone can have the high and the low hand and win it all.
That's always exciting when somebody scoops.
Right. It doesn't happen all that often, but it does happen.
And then all the players who lost, they have to match the pot. So, in your example, if the pot was $10, 4 players were in, somebody won high, somebody won low, they split the $10, they each get 5, and then the 2 losing players each have to put in $10 for the next hand, so now the pot is $20. And the button moves, and we deal again. And the game continues until there are no losers.
Right. 2 people only stay in and they split the pot. Or
only one person stays in.
Or only one person stays in, and then they just get the pot. In our game, if one person stays in, we don't have a qualifying, like they have to have a certain hand. They just get the pot.
Yeah, if one person, and let's talk about strategy, because I think only once have we ever had one person stay in and win.
Right.
But let's talk about strategy very much. Now, I'm pretty tight in this game because here's the way I look at it. If I fold, I don't have to contribute to the next pot, right? It's not like the only people that have to contribute to the next pot are the losers. It's not like everybody has to ante past that first initial ante.
Right. So you could play that game all night, and if you never put in past that first ante, you'd be out like the $1.50 or $2.
Right. Exactly. So that's the reason I'm really tight in this game.
And just wait for your good hand.
Yeah. And I'm definitely the tightest one at our game. I will only play if I have like all cards 7 and lower.
Right.
Or maybe 8 and lower if I also have an ace. I'll also play if I have like trips, if I'm dealt trips, because often trips will win for high. It's not guaranteed.
Sure.
People make straights and flushes, but trips also. We've never had anybody dealt 4 of a kind, but obviously if you had, something like that. But I know a lot of players will stay in if they have like 4 suited cards.
Right.
Which is probably not a bad move, but I cannot tell you how often we see people staying with those 4 suited cards and they don't make their flush.
Oh, a lot of times. And a lot of people will tend to stay in with 4 numerical cards in a row. So if they have
to make a straight
4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, you definitely stay in because you got low and
4, 5,
high.
6, 7.
Yeah.
4 cards. Right?
4 cards,
right.
But if you had like, Jack 10, 9, 8.
Sure.
A lot of people would stay in on that.
Yeah.
Just hoping to catch a card.
I don't, again, because I decided I'm going to be ultra tight in this game because, I don't have to ante every time. But a lot of the players in our home game, they'll play like if they have like ace 3-3-7, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Where they've got a pair and they've got some low potential.
Right.
You know?
I did last night. I stayed with I had a pair of 3. I think that was my hand. It was
That
like
might have been,
ace 3-3-7 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had 3 low cards, right? And you've got that pair. So sometimes just a pair will win high.
Right.
And Mary, our good friend Mary who plays with us, is the exact opposite of you.
Yes.
Right.
She plays virtually every hand without looking.
Right. Without even looking. She just, I'm in.
Because it's fun.
Yeah,
I understand
right.
that.
Yeah.
She just likes the game. It's fun.
And she's noted, as we all kind of have, that, you can have a pretty crappy looking hand and boom, you win. And you can have the best hand. Remember last night I had a hand.
Oh, yeah.
Where I had like, I don't know, it was ace 2-3-5 or something.
Well, it was 6 high. You had a 6 high on 4 cards.
Right.
And you ended up not winning the low.
Couldn't win the low or the straight. I couldn't catch the straight. I didn't get a pair. I could have just paired an ace.
I had a 7 high, same exact hand. I had a 7 high, and I made a 7 high 5 card hand.
Right.
I still lost.
Yeah.
Because Mary, who just went in without looking, she made a better 7 high than I did for the low.
I think she had like 7-5-2, 3-2, and you had 7-5-4.
It came down to like the third card, something like that. Yeah. So, but it is amazing how you back into hands in this game. Now, we talked about there only being one person playing and winning that way. Typically, that doesn't happen. Let's say there are 8 of us, and the first 6 people fold. Well, when it comes down to those last 2, chances are, if they both go in, one of them's going to win high and one of them's going to win low.
Yeah.
Not guaranteed, of course.
But most of the time, that's what happens.
So typically what happens is, even if it's not the last 2 players, let's say, you go around the table, one player A says, okay, I'm going to be in, and then it folds all the way around to the person on the button.
Yeah, he should just go in.
A lot of times it makes sense to just, go in and, oh, what the heck, I may win high or low. Right. Who knows why, player A is staying in.
Right. And a lot of times you'll see where that last person just goes in and wins both ways.
Yeah, right? We've seen that.
With the crappiest of hands, but.
What are you, so I said what I will play in that. What's your strategy when you're playing that?
Well, obviously I look for low. If I have 4 low cards, I'm almost always in. If I have 4 cards under 8,
right,
I'm in.
What if you've got like
if I've got a high pair,
a
lot of times I'll be in.
That's what I was going to ask.
That's my strategy. If I've got a pair of kings, now if you've got king, queen, 3, 9. No, you're not in. I mean, I don't know what you can get with that really, but if I do have a high pair, I've got a pair of kings and maybe a 3 and a 6 or something,
Mm-hmm.
I'll go in. Sure, I've only got 2 cards to the low and I've only got the pair of kings, but a lot of times 2 pair and this will win.
A high 2 pair, sure.
Yeah,
right,
so you get kings and 3s, you'll probably win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can get trips. So that's kind of what I look for.
Yeah.
Not that there's really any strategy involved in the way I play, but.
Well, I mean, we've seen it so many times in the game where, a good strategy doesn't mean that you're going to win. And the thing about this game is the pots can get big too.
Yeah.
We've had the pot get over $100, with people just, going in and with good hands, but not winning. Right?
And I think that the best thing about this game, I really like the game. I think the best thing about this game is it's just fun. There's not a lot of thinking that you have to do. It's a good game, if you're watching the basketball game on TV and you're drinking some beer and you want to play a game. If you're a serious poker player, there's no strategy involved in this.
Well,
very little.
I think the reason that's so fun is because it's fun to see people lose a bunch of money on a hand that was supposed to be good. Right. The pot's like $60 and you start off with ace, deuce, 3, 4, and you lose, right? So then suddenly you're throwing all the money you've won grinding out through the night playing Texas Hold'em and Omaha is suddenly gone in one stupid hand of 4-3. That's why we like it.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I do like that. And I especially like it if like Paul or Bill are the ones that lose on that, cause they take it so hard. Cause they're good poker players and they think, and I understandably, they're like, well, wait a minute, how can I lose all that? So.
Yep. All right. So that's 4-3. We're going to answer some listener mail this episode. Let's start with some mail that we got from friend of the show, Miguel. He forwarded us an article that he read about the trend of Las Vegas casinos to close their poker rooms. Now, poker rooms have never been big money makers for the casinos. I mean, they make very little money off of it. You know, they take a rake from every pot. And it is significantly less than if they had like table game, a bunch of blackjack games, you know, in that area, or slots, certainly. Yeah. So it's not a big money maker for them.
No, and I bet most of their rate goes to pay the dealers and the pit bosses. They have a pit boss and some dealers. You know,
there's overheads. Yeah.
There's a lot of overhead. I think it's more of a courtesy to players that they even have it.
Well, ever since the kind of the poker boom in the early 2000s, that's when a lot of the casinos that maybe didn't have poker rooms before started to include them in their casinos. Right. And now that the poker boom has kind of leveled off, or it might be even waning a little bit because of Black Friday, a lot of the casinos now are shutting down their poker rooms. And the article that he sent specifically was talking about the Tropicana, where they closed their room. So he said, "Hi guys, I read this article and became preoccupied with finding a poker room in Las Vegas. Incredible as it sounds, it may become difficult to locate them on the Strip. Could you review a few of your favorites, if they are still open, that is? Thank you." First off, I think there's still plenty of poker rooms on the Strip.
I think most of the major casinos have poker rooms.
But we'll be honest, we haven't played in a lot of poker rooms, and I was trying to think, when was the last time we played poker at a casino in Las Vegas?
It had to be playing at the Mirage.
The Mirage, and what was that, 10 years ago?
That was quite a while ago. Yeah.
So we can talk about something that we do know. The Mirage poker room, I don't know what it's like now, but that was a nice poker room.
That was a very nice poker room, yeah.
Some of the bigger poker rooms in Las Vegas are the Venetian, the Bellagio poker room, and Aria, a new one.
That's one, yeah. The Venetian was very nice. I always go back to that. It's just where it was set. It wasn't back in a dingy corner of the casino like some of them are.
Yeah.
I mean, it was right up front. It had glass doors. It's real clean, neat.
Yep. And they just redid it too. Remember, we looked at it recently. They had redone it. Neither of us has played there, but I think our friend Phil played there once. I went and was just I was sweating him at as he was playing, like, I think, Texas Hold'em. It's very nice. Yeah, it's plenty of room, nice chairs and everything. So just based on that, I would recommend the Venetian. I did play once at the Harrah's poker room, and it was terrible.
Yeah,
what you were talking about, just they put you off in a corner.
Oh, you're off in a corner, nowhere. It's kind of dingy and dark and dirty. I mean. It feels seedy. You feel like, oh, you're a bad boy. Go play poker.
So again, we don't really know. So we want to kind of open the question up to the listeners. If anybody has poker rooms that they like, either because of it's comfortable, or there are a lot of fish, or any other reason, specifically Las Vegas Strip poker rooms, let us know, and we'll pass it along.
I will say one thing: the few times that we have played in poker rooms in Vegas, it's a lot of locals.
Right.
You can tell. I mean, the people who know each other, and they're talking about local things, and I don't think a lot of tourists go and sit at a poker table.
Well, if they do, it's going to be on weekends mostly. And the locals are just waiting there to gobble them up.
Right.
I mean, that kind of happened with you. You were playing like a 20-40 limit?
Right. It was 20-40 limit. And I swear to God, I think everybody on that table knew each other personally except me.
Yeah, they were probably, just licking their chops when they saw you sit down, but then you took them for quite a bit.
Took them for quite a bit.
Yeah, so that worked out okay for you. All right, so let us know if you have any favorite poker rooms in Las Vegas. We also got an email from Nate. He was responding to a discussion that we had on dice influencing in our from episode 13. And he wrote, "Now, I am not a big believer in being able to roll certain numbers. The odds just seem too stacked against any player. However, I do think many people miss one item in this concept. Just like counters at blackjack, they are not expecting to win 100% of the time. There is still variance involved. There will never be someone that can roll a hard 6 15 times in a row. The pass line plus odds bet, though, is so close to 100% already, all it would take is one less 7 out of many rolls to turn it positive. It would certainly take more to turn a hard way positive. So, yeah, when we were discussing this before, we kind of gave the impression that dice influencers were claiming that they could roll any combination
Particular
at
number,
will.
right?
That was kind of the way that we approached the conversation. Of course, that's not the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the dice influencers are really trying to do is to roll less 7s when it's not the come out roll. And it wouldn't take much if, you could roll one less 7 in 100 rolls even.
Oh, yeah.
That would give you
a huge advantage.
A good edge, just like on the pass line bet.
Right.
And even better, if you could do better than that, like a lot of them claim, it would be huge. So yeah, we want to make it clear that, yeah, we're not saying that dice influencers are claiming that they're just rolling hard 6s at will. But their goal most of their goal is to roll fewer 7s. Having said that, I'm still skeptical.
Yeah. I just don't know that you can do it.
Yeah. I think it's too hard. The minuscule, those little small areas of space under the dice and hitting the table and just that result in these huge differences.
I don't know how that you would know that you made a difference.
Yeah.
Really, right? Because unless you went and just rolled the dice regularly, and every time I went, I sat the dice and tried to roll them a certain way, and we kept track of that, and at the end of it, you said, well, wait a minute, you rolled X number of 7s, and I rolled, a significantly less number of 7s, then you might have some way of saying, okay, well, maybe you did influence the dice some, but it would have to be a number that was significant.
And there would have to be so many rolls to take as an example, right? That's
otherwise it's an insignificant number if you don't have enough rolls.
Because I know a lot of the people who believe in dice influencing will look at maybe 100 rolls, 200 rolls, and make a claim, and it is nothing. I mean,
it's nothing.
Think about we've been at tables where tables like here in California where they can't use just dice to determine the roll. You have to use cards.
Right.
So the randomness is definitely there, right? Nobody's
doesn't matter what you set the dice to.
Exactly,
right.
Because the cards ultimately determine what the roll is. So it's truly random. And we've seen 200 rolls where it's fantastic and there have hardly been any 7s, right? And that's completely random.
And we've seen 200 rolls where it seems like every other number is a 7.
Yeah.
So
anyway, we just did want to make it clear though that Nate brings up a good point that the goal of these dice influencers is to kind of reduce the number of 7s that come up.
Right.
We're still not convinced, but boy,
I think
if you got that skill, let us know.
Yeah, I think most of the people, it's just a neat thing to think about and to think that you do have some control.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like the guy that, remember, you were excited. There was one guy that shot the dice the other night real well, and he just, as soon as the dice were in front of me, he picked them up and just threw them.
I loved his style.
I mean, he threw them.
Yeah.
And, so you started doing it, and then there's the guy that sits there and plays with him. And does that guy shoot better than this guy? Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. It is, and we're both guilty, if that's the right word, of fooling with the dice and, pretending like it's going to make a difference or being superstitious or, same dice or, watch your hands, right? But, so, we're guilty of that, but, we don't really believe it.
Remember the one time I was probably losing. I'm sure I was. And I was kind of upset. And my thing was I'd just pick them up and I would just slam them down at the table. I mean, it was like violently just throwing them at the table.
That's right. It's part of the fun.
Didn't seem to help.
It's part of the fun. All right. So that's going to do it for us this time. Don't forget to email us with questions, comments at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Also visit our website, youcanbetonThat.com, where you can check out our show notes and leave comments. Definitely follow us on Twitter @YouCanBetOnThat. We always let you know when we're on our way or in a casino, and Mike is still looking forward to giving up $20 on the pass line.
Yeah, one of my cousin's relatives, who's not related to me, it's his sister-in-law's husband, heard about it, and he told me at a softball game, at our daughter's softball game the other day, he says, I'm going to head out there just to get that $20. So,
Will that count? Because you've already met him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have already met him, but he's not a regular gambler and stuff. And he wants to learn craps he's actually never played.
Okay.
And he says, he's going to try and come out there so I can teach him one time.
Right.
So, get out there before Ben does.
All right. Fair enough. We've got a Facebook page too, so like us on Facebook. We'd appreciate that. It's facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. And also, I want to thank everybody who has reviewed us on iTunes. Thank you very much. And for those of you who haven't, please go to iTunes and if you give us a good review, that will help us get more listeners and good listeners.
Good listeners, yeah. Yeah, we like those people who listen to every word.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Mike, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right, we'll see everybody next time.
Good luck in the tournament.